Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube deck tech for you guys from the comment section. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a current list, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. Today, we have a request from the user AI Zepsiiy saying, blah, 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 Captain America, $100 to $150. Sure, no problem. This is Captain America, First Avenger, red, white, blue Jeskai, 4/4 with the throw ability, pay 3 unattached equipment from Captain America, and then he'll deal damage equal to that equipment's mana value divided among 1, 2, or 3 targets, and then at the beginning of combat on your turn, attach up to 1 equipment you control to Captain America. So this is all about throwing the shield and then going to combat and getting the shield back and being able to bash with it. So, as of note, $150 is very difficult for Captain America. As you can see, he's about $50 on his own, which means we have $100 for the other 99 cards in the deck. Building equipment is expensive generally just because equipment always tend to maintain value, especially the swords. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, so to speak, pun intended. The cool part about this deck in particular is it's extremely budget friendly. If you already have a Captain America or if you plan on building around Captain America, you're already looking at $50 just for him, but the rest of the deck's $100, and it's extremely easy to upgrade over time. You find 1 equipment at your LGS, a sword that you've saved up for, any sort of a cool equipment, a cigar to aid. There's a lot of really impressive changes and upgrades that can be made to this deck over time. But with where it's at right now, I'm extremely happy with it. I think it's going to have a really fun time playing around bracket 2 and can easily go to a high bracket 3 with a little bit more money. Starting with the Planeswalker, the only one is Nahiri. You make a 1/1 core soldier and then you can attach equipment to it. The biggest thing is you can put an equipment from your hand or your graveyard onto the battlefield, so it's kind of free recursion. Creatures, there's 21. Akiri, good at drawing cards and messing around with equipment. Arden can free equip equipment. Armored Skyhunter is one of actually the most expensive cards in this deck at $5.60, and actually one of the best. I play this in my own equipment deck, and I always look forward to drawing it. It's probably one of my favorite cards to draw. When it attacks, you just get to look at the top 6, get an aura equipment, put it on the battlefield, and attach it. Astor, so when he enters the battlefield, you go get equipment, and then equipment you control have equip 1. The vehicle stuff doesn't matter. Brass Squires free equips. Brunor is making stuff bigger that's equipped, and you can pay 0 instead of an equip cost. So as you can see, a lot of these creatures are trying to make our equipment either cheaper, the equip cost cheaper, or free, and then actually benefit from either finding equipment or doing something once it is equipped. Sid makes equipment stuff cheaper, and then you can return stuff from your graveyard to your hand. Cloudstone Kieran is a pretty cool one. So if you have this on Captain America, for example, Captain America will start flying, and then you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game, which is super fun, super interesting, and at like a bracket 2 is going to totally warp the game in a pretty interesting way, I think. Dalakos makes your equipped stuff have flying and haste and gives you 2 mana for it. Danitha makes your equipped stuff less. Enthusiast, Ethereum, and Foundry Inspector all make your equipment cost 1 less. Gilgamesh, when it enters, look at the top 6 for an equipment. Godo, when it enters, look for an equipment. Joyra, when you cast an equipment, you draw a card, or a legendary or a saga. Lion Sash is a little bit of a graveyard removal. Pure Steel Paladin, one of the better cards in a deck like this. It is card draw, and then once you have Metalcraft, makes everything equip 0. Rayav, whenever equipped creature attacks, that creature gains double strike until end of turn, so this can end the game very quickly. SRAM is more card draw on cast. And then Zerda, you can ignore all this companion shenanigans. Simply, abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. So for example, Captain America would only cost 1 to throw the shield instead of 3. Sorceries, we have Vandal Blast, just a catch-all removal piece This used to be like an $8-10 card back in the day. For $1.30 in a budget deck, it just does so much for so little. It's hard not to include it. Instance, this is actually where most of the money comes from. You're looking at Akroma's Will, Boros Charm, and Flawless Maneuver. These are all ways to protect our board and protect our equipment. When it comes to an equipment deck, especially with Captain America, your main lose condition is getting your board wiped. It's one thing to lose a creature or two, but it's another thing to get like Austere commanded and lose 5 equipment. That's going to probably put you out of the game. Things like this can actually protect your creatures, your permanents, and they can also play a dual role. For example, Chroma's Will is a major win condition as well as a protection piece in this deck because it can make all your creatures flying, vigilance, double strike, lifelink, indestructible, pro all colors to end of the turn. It's pretty good. Dispatch, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, all exile creatures, all are cheap, all are in white, no reason not to play them. So artifacts, will go straight to the ramp section. We have Arcane Signet, all the other signets, Azorius, Boros. We have Felwar Stone, Izzet Signet, Soul Ring, Talisman, Thought Vessel. 10 up, 10 down. Very simple. Even in a deck where your commander's 3 mana, you still want to consistently be getting ahead of the table, getting ahead of the curve. A lot of your equipment can range anywhere from like 2 to 4. Argentum Armor you're looking at can even be 6 mana. So being able to not necessarily get to a point where you can cast a 6-drop or a 7-drop, but in this deck, you'd rather cast like a 4-drop and a 3-drop. You start double spelling every turn. That's going to put you very far ahead. Or casting a 3-drop or a 4-drop and then still activating Captain America. So there's still going to be plenty of ways to use your excess mana. Adaptive Omni Tool gets bigger per artifact, and then when you attack, you look at the top to reveal an artifact. Argentum Armor destroys permanents. Bioorganic Carapace. So when it enters, you attach it, and then when you deal combat damage, draw a card for each modified creature you control. So counters, equipment, aura, all count as modifications, and this is all cheap and effective ways at getting us card draw, whereas more often in a deck like this, higher power level, you're looking at things like Rhystic Study. That's $50. Bioorganic Carapace is 21 cents. It fits the theme, and it gets card draw. So thematically, it's just way cooler to play this in a deck. Celestial Armor, when it comes in, you give a creature hexproof and indestructible, and then it pumps it and gives it flying. Champion's Helm is hexproof. Colossus Hammer is just a huge boost. Conqueror's Flail for Captain America particularly will be +3/+3. Dragonfire Blade is +2/+2 hexproof from monocolored. Lightning Greaves, obvious why it's here, goes in every equipment deck, goes in almost every deck in general. Loxodon Warhammer is trample and lifelink. Mjolnir for obvious thematic reasons. When it comes in, you can automatically attach it to a legendary creature you control, and then when you attack, tap target creature defending player controls and put a stun counter on it. Then Mjolnir deals damage equal to the number of tapped creatures that opponent controls. Nettlecyst is a living weapon that gets buffed for all your artifacts and enchantments. Robe of the Arch Magi. So this is equipped Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard for 1. Otherwise it's equipped 4. But remember, Captain America and a lot of your other things are going to circumvent the equip cost. So it's just going to say whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Can be very effective in this deck. Sword of War and Peace, aka Cap Shield. Expensive, but all the swords are generally the best equipment when it comes to any equipment deck, and we couldn't afford really any of them, but we made room for this, and as you can see at the bottom, we broke the budget by $2.15 to make room for Cap Shield, but respect. Sunforger is really cool. So you can pay a red and a white to unattach it, to search your library for a red or white instant, convert a mana cost 4 or less, and then just cast it. So if you have this out, you can actually utilize this to go get any of these cards and cast them for free because they're all red or white instants that cost 4 or less. So you can get something like a Boros Charm to give all your permanents indestructible and save yourself from a board wipe. You can also go get a Chroma's Will if it's your turn, if you want to end the game that turn and make an Alpha Strike and just give all your stuff all these abilities. So Sun's Forger plays a lot of roles in decks like these, and you can get really tricky. Swiftfoot Boots, same reason as Lightning Greaves. Excuse me. Sword of Vengeance, a bit of a boost. First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. The key to the vault is more pseudo card draw. Winged Boots gives Flying and Ward 4. Thran Power Suit gives Ward 2 and then a boost for all your auras and equipments. Enchantments, we don't have many. Mantle of the Ancients can return aura and equipment that could be attached from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is more hold this until nearly the end of the game or after you are trying to recover from a board wipe and then get everything back all at once. Whirlwind of Thought is essentially whenever you cast one of your non-20 creature spells, draw a card. So again, a card you definitely look to replace when the time comes when you're looking to upgrade, but for now, for our budget, drawing cards at this cost is reasonable and what we're going to need to do. Finally, with great power, thematically, it's on theme. What more do you want? +2/+2 for all your auras and equipments. All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. So keep in mind, if you can manage to make your creature indestructible, all the damage dealt to you is dealt to an indestructible Captain America, which is a cool thing. And as you upgrade your budget and you get to add some of the mithril coat, and just in case you don't know, I will show you what that is really quickly. So this is one of those spells that you'd definitely be looking to work your way towards as far as upgrading. So Flash, indestructible, enters, attach it to a legendary creature, equip creature as indestructible. Absolutely insane in any equipment deck, but unfortunately is just way too above our budget. So I'll move it to the sideboard for now. Those and Sword of Blank and Blank, fill in the blanks, give it a Google, there's like 10 of them. You put any of those in here and you're going to have a good time. Finally, when it comes to lands, I gave you a serviceable mana base, nothing expensive, nothing crazy. I would say don't skip on Monumental Henge. It can be a really great way of getting card advantage out of a land and for cheap. Finally, Slayer, Stronghold, and Sunhome are both abilities that you could be extremely happy to have in your deck, and getting them for 8 and 9 cents respectively is hard to beat. Overall, as I said in the beginning, I think this deck is going to be a ton of fun. I actually wanted to change my equipment deck to Captain America as well, but I'm excited to see how this plays out. You're going to have a good time playing it now. You're going to have a really good time upgrading it. I think it's a great starting point for somebody getting into Magic. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, Godspeed.